Hey friends, before we get started, I want to let you know that today's video is sponsored by MSI, and they sent over one of their brand new motherboards for me to check out, the MSI Creator X299. This is one of their high-end desktop motherboards, and as the name implies, Creator, this is made for people who do a ton of productivity. And it's no secret here on UFD Tech that we make a lot of videos, between 20 and 30 every single month. And so there's a lot of features that this Creator motherboard has that can aid and abet in us being able to make YouTube videos, but also anybody who else is into creativity, whether you're looking to get into Intel's new high-end desktop chips in the 10 series, or if you have one of their previous chips in the 9 or 7 series and you want to upgrade your motherboard to something with new features, the MSI X299 Creator has a lot jam-packed into it so that you can actually get a whole lot of new features out of it. So as I mentioned, this thing can support all the way up to Intel's brand new i9-10980XE 18-core 36-thread CPU. And it does that by having a 12-phase power delivery system with a lot of cooling attached to it. So MSI has gone with an all aluminum design for the heat sinks that will provide heat dissipation on the VRM, all the way connected to a separate VRM cooler, which will allow you to stay cool even under the most intense overclocks. And to deliver all of that power, they give you 3 8-pin EPS connectors. So even if you wanted to do some extreme overclocking on this thing, you have enough power delivery to get that, even though that's the antithesis of being a creator. The point is, even if you're going all the way up to an 18 core, MSI allows you to have the power and the cooling to make sure that everything works. And there's plenty of room for memory overclocking as well, with it supporting all the way up to 4266 megahertz on the memory, even more if you overclock it. But that's just the standard inclusion, and it has 8 DIMM slots for up to 256 gigs of total memory support, which if you're doing any sort of creativity, typically RAM's the first thing to run out. So max loading all 8 DIMMs can give you plenty to work with. And then on top of that, they give you 4 PCI Express 3.0 times 16 slots. You have 4 full slots to do what you want with putting whatever expansion cards you want in this thing. And thankfully, MSI includes a few expansion cards in the box. The first up is Thunderbolt, which is great for anybody who's trying to connect to a Thunderbolt display or just needs to run something that runs at 40 gigabits per second. And then on top of that, they also give you their Aero M.2 expansion card, which can support up to 4 PCI Express M.2 NVMe drives in there. And fun fact, the card is actually PCI Express 4.0 compatible. So if you want to upgrade down the line to a new motherboard when Intel finally supports PCI Express 4.0, you can actually bring the Aero card over to the next MSI motherboard that you actually pick up for that. So the M.2s can be PCI Express 4.0, but the card itself still runs over PCI Express 3.0 interface, but it gives you a lot of expansion considering the board has 3 M.2 slots. You get an additional 4 for a total of 7 supported in the entire system, which is tons of storage. If you just wanted to do M.2, you could go all the way up to freaking 28 terabytes if you get the 4 terabyte NVMe drives. And then on top of the Thunderbolt card, there's already really high speed USB connectivity on the motherboard itself. It includes a USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2 USB Type-C port on the back of the motherboard, which can transmit up to 20 gigabits per second. So if you don't want to add in that Thunderbolt card, you're still getting an insane speed. But on top of that, it also has a 10 gig LAN port. So if you have a crazy setup in your office with high bandwidth networking to make sure that you can transfer files to your server and back very quickly, or to be remotely connected to other computers in your editing den, this board already has 10 gig LAN supported on board with a secondary 1 gig LAN port backing it up. And then on top of that, you have 7 USB ports on top of the USB 3.2 Gen 2 back there, as well as 8 SATA 3 ports. So tons of drive expandability, and especially if you're using one of the higher end i9 chips such as the 10980XE or 9980XE or 7980XE, which comes with 48 lanes for PCI Express, you can expand this motherboard to your heart's content and really be able to push it to the limits. 10 gig networking, 20 gigabit per second on the USB, 40 gigabit per second on the Thunderbolt card. It has everything that you could possibly want in order to make sure that you're connected to your environment for content creation. It is an EATX motherboard, so you might need a slightly larger case to accommodate it. Considering all of the expansion opportunities that it gives you, all of the fan headers that are included for whatever cooling system you might want to have, this motherboard definitely deserves that extra little bit of width that comes with it. And then let's just talk about the aesthetics for a second. It's basically a black PCB with some silver accents on the reinforced DDR4 and PCI Express slots, but then also just some colorful RGB added in as more accent lighting. It's not the entire board. You can turn it off if you want, and then it has like this really cool reflective glass vibe going on for it. But if you want the RGB on, it looks really tasteful. It just kind of illuminates the interior of your build so that you can even see what you're including in here. But overall, the MSI X299 Creator brings a lot for anybody who is a creator and still on Intel's high-end desktop platform. Whether you're on the 7th, 9th, 10th gen CPU with Intel's HEDT platform, the MSI Creator gives you everything that you could possibly need in order to continue creating and to actually not even have to worry about your system. You have everything available, so you don't need to be concerned with your hardware, and you can just get to creating. So again, I want to say big thank you to MSI for sponsoring this video, for sending over the X299 Creator, as well as the Intel i9-10980XE, which has allowed me to edit with 18 cores and 36 threads, which is higher than any other chip that I've had before. But then on top of that, I can connect to my 10 gig network. I can have the ability to use Thunderbolt if I needed it, and everything is there for me. So big thanks to MSI for sponsoring, and big thanks to you guys for checking out this video. In case you're interested in checking out the X299 Creator, you can do so at the link in the video description. And that's going to be it for me. Everybody hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech related content. I'm Brett with the UFD Tech Channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.